exam, we will see the first day of the trial, in which we will introduce to the 7 defendants: Abby Hoffman, Tom Hayden, David Dellinger, Lee Weiner, Renee Davis, Jerry Rubin, John Furness, as well as 8 defendant Bobby Seale. In this first hearing, we will hear the opening statements of prosecutor Richard Schultz, who tries to convince the jury of the defendant's guilt on the conspiracy charge, while a series of irregularities and procedural violations unfold in the hearing.
69 CR 180 United States of America against David Dellinger, Renee C. Davis, Thomas Hayden, Abbott Hoffman, Jerry C. Rubin, Lee Weiner, George Furness, and Bobby G. Seale in judgment. Is the state willing to present its arguments?
We are, Your Honor.
My lawyer is not here, Your Honor.
It's not your turn to speak.
The judgment started without my lawyer.
Keep quiet. Schultz, Mr. Schultz?
Good morning. My name is Richard Schultz. I'm an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Illinois. Seated at my table is my boss, U.S. Attorney Thomas Foran, or you could say I'm seated at his table. At the defense table are the 8 defendants represented by their lawyers, William Konsler, Leonard Weinglass. Now, defendants will tell you that they represent 3 different groups. They will tell you one group is...
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I want to clarify something for the jury. I want to clarify that are 2 Hoffman in the room, the defendant A.B. Hoffman and me, Judge Julius Hoffman.
Thank you, sir.
I don't want it to cause any confusion, please.
Ma'am, I don't think they're gonna mix us up.
He refers to the score as Judge or Your Honor, and he will not address this court under. He will not speak in this court.
The defendants will tell you they represent 3 different groups.
And the record must specify that the defendant, Hoffman, and I are not related.
Oh, Father, don't say that.
Mr. Hoffman, do you know what camp that is?
It's practically a religion for me, sir.
Your Honor,
Carry on.
Rennie Davis and Tom Hayden are the leaders of the SDS, Student for Democratic Society. Davis and Hayden brought their people to Chicago for the purpose of causing violence in the streets in order to disrupt the Democratic Convention. You know, the Youth International Party as the Yippies. Their leaders are Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin. Bobby Seale is the leader of the Black Panther Party. Again, the defendant will tell you that these are 3 different or distinct groups, but they all...
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Can I tell?
No, sir.
It is that he said my name.
He is the accused in the case. You are going to hear his name.
I have a right to a lawyer, and Your Honor knows it.
Don't date the court what you know and don't know, and shut up. Mr. Schultz?
The radical left, that's all. They're the radical left in different customs. These defendants had a plan, and a plan amount to where more people is a conspiracy. The defendants cross state lines to execute their plan. That's why we're in federal court. The plan was to incite a riot, and there's one thing you already know. They succeeded.
Excuse me, have I already identified to the other defendants for the fire? He looks. And gentleman, winner?
Winner.
Mr. Furness and Mr. Dillinger.
Dellinger, Your Honor.
What is happening?
Oh, you're referring to the defendant Dillinger.
Dillinger.
It's Dillinger, sir.
No, the prosecution referred to the defendant as Dillinger, not Dellinger.
It's Dellinger, Your Honor.
Can we clarify this?
Sure, Dillinger was a bank robber. Dellinger is a gun. He is David Dellinger, and the youth and I are not related.
Your Honor, I'd like to caution the court that this kind of disruption and display of disrespect will be continued tactic for defense.
Sir, it's not a tactic. At the moment, the accused are the only ones listened in the records for knowing their names.
Okay, Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Counselor.
I am absolutely upset to be associated as my name member of this group.
What is your lawyer?
Charles R. Gary.
Is Mr. Gary here?
No, he's not here because
Your Honor,
We represent Mr. Seal?
no, sir.
Well then, silence. Mr. Schwartz, excuse me. Have you finished with your first statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
my lawyer Charles Gary is in a hospital in Oakland, having had gallbladder surgery.
Mr. Counselor, you are one side for the man, right? I get out with you is the same judgment.
The fact that there is a lawyer near Mr. Sale doesn't meet the due process requirements.
Hey, I have the right to.
A request for postponement was filed due to Mr. Gary's medical condition. I was there. Your Honor denied the motion. That's why Mr. Seal is here without legal representation.
I don't like your tone in general, Mr. Counselor.
I didn't mean to respect the court. I want to clarify that I can marry the grounds of Mr. Seals' appeal by acting as his lawyer today.
I'm not asking you get involved in this case, sir, but I want to allow you to talk to lawyer when there is a company's lawyer sitting around.
For the fourth time, he's not Bobby's lawyer.
Don't do that again.
Mr. George, I'm not with that group. I did not know the majority until the accusations.
I demand order.
They ate her.
I say I demand order.
They are seeking demanding the rights of the Chicago. Said, I am not with them.
Please, girl, calm down, Mr. Seal.
Mr. George, please, you have to listen to me. I didn't know any of these people until this day, and to be honest, the prosecution wanted a black defendant to scare the jury. They involved me to make the group more frightening. I came to Chicago, gave a speech, ate chicken pot pie, went to the airport, and went back to Oakland. That's it all. I don't belong to that group.
Please, Judge, Mr. Seal, we come to that of court.
In this scene, we will see how one of the testimonies presented at the trial developed, as well as the intervention of Bobby Sell, who claims not to be part of the Chicago event, while defending his constitutional right to have a lawyer or represent himself, in a context of discrimination, racism, and violations of their procedural rights by the judge.
Calling your attention to the evening of the next day, Tuesday, August 27, were you in Grand Park?
Yes, there was a pre-Q Newton rally going on.
Recognize any of the speakers?
I heard Jerry Rubin give a speech.
Judge, I object to that man's testimony because I was denied a lawyer.
I understand.
Do you recall any of Mr. Seals' speech?
Yes, he said,
Again, Your Honor, object of the testimony.
Silence.
Go ahead.
may I refer to notes?
Yes.
We must understand that as we go forward to try to move the reprobate politicians.
Your Honor,
Our cowardly Congress, the Jeff Joblip, talking Nixon.
Your Honor, everything that has just been said makes me look like someone popular. Thank you, sir.
Let's work in Mr. Sir.
Did he say anything else?
He said the revolution at this time is directly connected to organized guns in force.
No more questions.
Keep singing me. Someone very, very popular.
Do the defendants want to question the witness?
Yes, I am sitting here and I want to question the witness.
Only lawyers can do it.
My lawyer is Charles Gary.
I'm sick of hearing it.
I don't care if he's fit up.
What did he say?
I said there's no way I could care one bit whether you're fit or you're not, and that I demand to be able to cross-examine the witness.
Get back in your place and shut up and don't talk like that is court again, ever. Are there no more questions? Well, we'll take a break for an hour and return.
And now, it was premeditated murder. Fitz Hampton was killed last night.
Gus put Mr. Sear in his place.
He could not even hold a gun when the forensic report is finally released. Do not forget to ask about the bullet wound in his shoulder.
I warn you again, Mr. Sear. I warn you very seriously.
Are you seriously? Well, I have nothing more to say. I wish everyone the words in the judgment.
Gus, take accused and deal with him properly.
Don't stand up when Kaufman leaves.
Let's be on the record to try, fairly and impartially, to try the accused to sit down on his own. I ask you again, Mr. Sear, you can respond by moving your head up and down, or moving it from side to side. I'm assured that you will nodding to interrupt this trial if I address you in the correct order. Do I have your word? Mr. Sear, your next witness.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Key histories for the time to come closer.
Can you breathe? Are you having a trouble breathing?
Your Honor, of defendant is gay, bound in an American courtroom.
He asked for it. It was his fault.
Really?
Mr. Counselor, for God's sake, what do you want, Mr. Shaw? It's your time.
Your Honor, the government would like to make a motion that Bobby Seale be separated from the rest of the defendants and this case be declared a mistrial.
Do you want me to mistrial?
Of course, because he took the black man and turned him into a compassionate character.
Mr. Counselor, I have lived a long time, sir, and he's the first person to just said that I have discriminated against a man of color.
Let it be well documented in the record then.
Look at the lawyer, Counselor, for a few seconds to takes place. I will issue order declaring the mistrial against defendant Bobby G. Seale. Mr. Sir, you are currently charged with 16 counts of countering of your repeated displays of insolence, and I have one pending charge of homicide in Connecticut. You can go home, sir, and I doubt that one day you will be able to do it. The trial is suspended under 10 a.m. on Monday. Everybody stand up.
In this hearing, we will see the testimony of Renzi Clark, who was the Attorney General during the riots, who was carried the defense of the accused, revealing the political interest behind the events that led to trial of the 7th of Chicago. as well as the clear impartiality and due process violations that arose throughout the trial itself.
Your Honor, the people moved to disallow this witness.
I have the defendant's anticipated death.
Code of Federal Regulations mandates the disclosure of Justice Department's materials is prohibited without prior knowledge of the Attorney General, plainly meaning the sitting Attorney General, who is John Mitchell, who has denied its approval.
Judge, the rule refers only to verify specific documents and information. If the regulation were interpreted as Mr. Scholl is asking it to be, nobody in the federal government could ever testify in any trial after they left civil job.
I think the government is the least justified in asking the defendants to demonstrate the testimony they have to have from the witness.
Would like use the question this witness outside the presence of the jury?
If I find relevant testimony, I will call the jury to hear it. They cannot leave it, Mr. Counselor.
Defense called Ramsey Clark.
Say your name.
William Ramsey Clark.
Do you swear the testimony you will give is the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Clark, what Washington your occupation in the summer 1608?
I was the Attorney General of the United States.
You were appointed by President Johnson?
Yes.
Confirmed by the United States Senate?
Yes.
Now, did you receive a phone call at your office at on September 10 of the last year?
Yes.
And from whom was that call?
President Johnson.
Will you state what President Johnson said to you and what was said to him?
Your Honor, at this point, we will object. A cabinet officer doesn't have to and should not have to relate the contents of a private call he had with the President.
I accept the objection.
Please, the court, this is voir dire. I thought of occasions were reserved.
There is an issue of attorney-client privilege to consider.
The President is not a client of the Attorney General.
Excuse me, sir?
The President is not a client of the Attorney General. I'm happy to answer.
Your Honor, hearing from the witness on this point is highly irregular.
Well, gentlemen, there is my room, but the witness is the armed man, and declared his will so then the informational purposes, I will listen to the answer.
Thank you. Mr. Clark, did President Johnson ask you a question in that phone call?
The President asked me and if they intended to seek anything related to the riots the previous month in Chicago.
And what did you tell him?
I told him we will not be seeking indictments.
And can you tell us why?
An investigation by Rural Criminal Division led to the declaration that riots were started by the Chicago Police Department.
The judge bangs his gavel several times. Everyone down.
Mr. Clark, did your counterintelligence division make a report as well?
Yes, the content that the risk was comprehensive by the defense to insult violence during the convention.
And then what happened on the Thursday after the first Monday in November of this year?
Richard Nixon was elected president.
Takes praise.
Nobody objected.
We do it well now. There's no love lost between the witness and the sitting attorney general. The witness was called to wage a political attack and should not be allowed before the jury.
Sir Consul,
Your Honor, you cannot possibly be considering not allowing the jury to hear what we have just heard.
The witness can't present them testimony that would assist in making a determination of guilt or innocence.
He just testified his one Justice Department came to the conclusion.
The current Justice Department, the one that made us come to a new conclusion.
Therefore, motivation of the prosecution have to be called into question.
The motivation of the prosecution is not an issue at courtroom.
In any courtroom I've ever been in except this one.
Object.
Sir Consul, do you have further questions that demonstrate that the witness will make a material contribution, or should I ask you to leave?
You've ruled it. You're not gonna leave to the jury hear his testimony.
Not unless you can show me what you haven't done so far that with the witness.
Are you any good?
Are you addressing the stenographer?
Keep it with us.
Sir Consul,
In this prosecution politically motivated?
Object.
Yes.
President Nixon inherited an unpopular war.
Yes, and your clients make it more unpopular every day.
This administration is paranoid about the CDAs, the mob, the new left.
Mr. Clark, please, sir, or I will be forced to hold you in contempt. Do you understand, sir?
I do, Your Honor.
Please leave the stand.
Thank you, sir.
You shall get to work until April.
Your Honor, when the jury returns, will they be informed that the defense had called the former Attorney General of the United States of America, but this court ruled that he couldn't testify?
Another motion will be denied.
His head remains incredulous. Seconds later, he picks up a book and slams it against the table.
Sure, Mr. Consul, will his third count of
Also the worst a human can do to another.
Did any of the accusers speak?
I say I'm right. You are not competent judge.
Calm down, Mr. Dillinger.
If we are guilty, why does he not touch us? You are the ultimate authority. You should prosecute us. This is a political problem.
Girls can accuse it.
But you ought to prosecute us. You already decide we are guilty. You are incompetent and do not apply the law. You violate human rights.
Dave, I got.
Behave.
I can behave in this court. Your judge already decided we are guilty. The trial must be criminal. I cannot continue. Mr. Judge is violating my rights. Those not know the procedural law.
Get him out of here and look him up.
I'm sorry.
Finally, we reached the last part of the trial, with the testimony of Abby Hoffman, from whom we will hear about the motivations that led the defendants to carry out the demonstration, as well as perspective of what happened at the day of the events. Finally, reached the sentence, which reflects the sense of a trial carried out for political purpose, for all irregularities, impartialities, and procedural violations.
Can you say your full name, please?
I'm Abby.
Your full name, please.
My grandfather's name was Sabornakov, but he was a Russian Jew protesting anti-Semitism, so he was assigned a name that would sound like you.
What is your birthday?
Psychologically 1960.
And what did he do until 1960?
Nothing. I believe in studied American education.
Let's better start with the testimony.
Sure.
Avi, do you know why you are on trial here?
We carry certain ideas across state lines. No machine guns, no drugs, no illegal ideas. When we cross from New York to New Jersey to Pennsylvania to Ohio, we have certain ideas, and for that, we are gay, by then arrested and on a trial.
Okay.
I 1861 Lincoln saying in our address, when the people shall grow wide of their constitutional rights to amend the government, they shall exert their revolutionary rights to dismember and overthrow that government. And if Lincoln had taken the speech in the park last summer, we have put on a trial with the rest of us.
So how do you overthrow or dismember, as you say, your government peacefully?
In this country, we do every 4 years.
That's all.
So Chicago was just a massive voter registration drive.
Yes.
Did you hear the tape we played of Tom Hayden?
Yes.
You heard the tape?
Yes.
Did you hear my Hayden give an instruction to the people to take to the streets?
People, Hayden's not a mafia and neither am I.
Did you hear him say, if blood is gonna flow, let it flow all over the city?
The beginning of that sentence was supposed to be, yes, yes, I did.
What do you think of that?
I think that Tom Hayden is a badass of American pattern.
I didn't ask what you thought of the man. I asked of the instruction of the crowd.
And I also heard Tom Hayden say, let's end of the war. But nobody stopped shouting. You can't do anything to anything by taking it of our content short.
If blood is gonna flow, how do you take that out of context?
A guy once said, I am come to set man at variance with the father and daughter against her mother. You know who said it?
Jerry Robin.
No, it was Jesus Christ, Matthew 10:35. And it sure sounds like he's telling kids to kill their parents. Until you read Matthew 30:40 and 36. He just saying his best friend get hit in the head with a knife. The police knows sure how people are they.
Do you feel have contempt for your government?
Do I?
Yeah. Do you have contempt for the government?
I think the institution of democracy are wonderful things that right now populated by someone terrible people.
Please answer the question.
Tell me again.
Do you have content for your government?
I tell you, Mr. It's nothing compared to the content my government has for me.
We've heard testimony from 27 witnesses on the road that you hoped of the confrontation with the police, that your plans for the convention were designated specifically to draw the police into a confrontation.
I know it was gonna be the first wish of mine that come true I will ever at my highest.
It's a yes or a no question. When you come to Chicago, were you hoping of confrontation with police? Concert, you have to think about it.
Give me a moment, will you, friend? Don't never been on trial, my throat before.
No more question.
Everybody stand up. 69 180 United States of America. David Derninger. The law says that before sentencing, allow the accused and defendants to make a statement to the court. I informed the defendant's attorney that the court will let a defendant speak on behalf of the group, and I was informed that it decided for Mr. Hayden. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hayden, despite his action during the convention, is the only defendant we showed during this trial. Respect for his school, for this country, and remorse for his action. I really believe, and I'm serious, I really believe that one day you will be a very productive part of system. I ask you to make your statement brief and without political content of any kind. If you make it brief, respectful, repentant, and concise, I will consider it in your favor with passing my sentence. Do you understand what I told you, Mr. Hayden?
Yes, that will favor the sentences, right?
Just like that.
Yes, I make my statement with respect and regret.
Yes.
Excuse me, Joanna, what was the third thing?
Brief.
Brief. If I do those things, my government will favor me, right?
Understands?
Yes.
You can start.
Okay, Joanna. Since this trial began, 4,752 American soldiers have died in Vietnam, and the following are their names.
Circumstances?
Soldier First Class Dennis Walter Keith, 18 years old. Private Eric Allen, 19 years old.
Circumstances? He will not read 5,000 names for the record.
Robert Ford, 21 years old. First Sergeant David Cruz Chavez, 31 years old. Douglas Jackson, 19 years old.
Our order. Our order.
Philip Lawrence Jewell, 20 years old. Sergeant Brian John Morrow, 19 years old.
I will read 4,500 names.
Sergeant Major James Warren Pinsel, 36 years.
I demand order.
Staff Sergeant James William Greenwood, age 33, 4th Battalion Specialist. Edward B. Cribb, age 21. Corporal David Michael King, 21 years old. Specialist Harold Ray,
Order.
20 years old.
Sir, Hiram kept silent.
James Clinton del Franco, 19 years old. Kenneth Joe Austin, 18 years old.
Sir Counsel, Sir Schwartz, what are you doing?
First Lieutenant Donald Bryan Mansell, 24 years old.
Respect to the fallen.
Soldier Wayne Carl Woodland, age 20. Staff Sergeant Thomas Anthony Sylvie, age 26. Soldier First Class Richard Henry Trent, age 20. Henry Farmer, age 25.
Order.
Alan Free, 19 years old. Lieutenant Sergeant Franklin Theodore James, 26 years old.